Woo! Greetings! You're listening to Sound Art Radio, and this is Magical Fun Time with myself, Dr. Ergo Phizmiz,
and me,
Lottie. Depresstival.
Yeah.
And
I've got a Cert HE in philosophy.
yeah, man.
Before the university closed down, technically, I think I can use that. Shall I stop? Cert HE.
Cert HE.
After my name.
And I, today, first of all, to you guys, dear listeners, I want to talk to you about my new favorite kind of exciting special music. Because who would have thought that that AI music would yield anything other than absolute gold? And my current favorite music genre is right-wing AI metal anthems. Now, as you know, dear listener, I'm about as far from being far right as one could possibly be, to the extent that I'm ostracized from Western society pretty much, because let's be honest, your Western society is a bit right-leaning, isn't it? A bit, generally, it's a bit right-leaning. But these far-right AI pop anthems are just
it's a gift.
Comedy gold,
really.
Dear listeners. We have to accept this is happening in culture, and we can look at it and we can be vexed and bemused and amazed and all these things. My favorite ones I've seen so far, one was, do you remember that one with the little very, very unintentionally camp little angry man in a Union Jack kilt? He was wearing a very short little kilt. It was very sexy. It was, and I was looking for it and I cannot find it. Oh, but dear listener, it was so sexy, that angry little Englishman in his little fetching Union Jack kilt. But also, wasn't there one with a giant robotic Elon Musk doing a guitar solo?
I think so. Tommy Robinson's internal.
Yeah, well, there's big sort of like Soviet era kind of heroic images of Tommy Robinson. It's comedy gold. People need to stop being like terrified of these figures and start ridiculing them, because Jason Giorgiani is a symptom of this wider thing. Jason Giorgiani, dear listener, in case you haven't already heard of him, you will have done if you've heard our show a few times before, because we talk about him quite regularly, because he is literally the history's most pompous man ever. It's amazing. It's utterly amazing.
He's the first American philosopher.
He's the only philosopher in history, apart from Ayn Rand, apparently. Who I thought was like more a novelist, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Didn't she write some weird aesthetics books or something, you said?
Well, I mean, the thing is about the Ayn Rand thing is it's become like a token that both the right wing and the left wing like to talk about.
Yeah, but also we
like, blah 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 blah.
But we live in a world where, like, the people presenting themselves as left-wing are often as right-wing as the right-wing people.
But the fact is, like, I'm also confused about it because it's sort of like, whatever, there's loads of philosophers who've said really awful things. It's more about people talking about Ayn Rand than it is about the actual content of the thing. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know why you would choose that as opposed to sort of like Heidegger or something who was literally a member of the Nazi Party. So it's kind of like, if you're going to start down the road of like what philosophers have said, like, you're going to be very disappointed about a lot of people's sort of personal ethics. I mean, like, sort of Schopenhauer, for instance, chucked his maid down the stairs, and all of them hated women and wrote sort of like books about how much they hated women and stuff. And you know, Plato talked about eugenics and stuff. So I think partly the Ayn Rand thing is because she's a woman. Also, it's this thing. I guess it's American frat boys really like it, so it's kind of like gone into the whole Milton Friedman.
Morton Feldman.
Morton Feldman thing.
It's
anyway,
amazing.
That's what I think.
I find it amazing.
Ayn Rand, but Ayn Rand is not. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really care, basically.
Yeah, but I find it amazing that Milton Friedman, as well as like drawing up the plan of neoliberalism, wrote all that lovely meditative piano music too. Morton Feldman, dear listeners. And so yeah, Giorgiani is a symptom because there's like, it's like, is it like, I guess would you say it's post-irony? Because I noticed this big change when I first became a teacher when I was in my 20s. I noticed that the boys who were like 16, 17 would look at stuff of like guys with their shirts off, with like poodle hair on the top of cliffs, playing long, kind of pointless guitar solos, and they said, Sir, come and look at this. And, you know, I didn't have the heart to say, like, that's literally the worst thing I'd ever seen. But that was the kind of thing that as kids in, like, the 80s and the 90s, we thought was funny. And it's okay to think, you know, this stuff is funny. But, like, pomposity itself is something, it's there to be popped, isn't it? Pomposity is a balloon that's there because when a person is pompous, it means their ego is very, very fragile.
Especially if you say you're a philosopher, who's like, you know, philosophy started with some weird witchy woman who may not have been on very sort of like, well, not illicit at the time, but now after all her substances, saying to a bloke like, who, you know, saying in response to a question which was like, oh, who's the cleverest? And then she was like, well, you know, this bloke he's not an arrogant egotist, Socrates. And all of it just started with him saying, well, I don't know anything. So, like, that's the whole start of
Wisdom begins with humility, doesn't it?
That's the whole start of the tradition, but thousands and thousands of years ago.
But Giorgiani is only a symptom of it, although he did make the alt-right website.
Yeah.
But he's a symptom of it, which is clear from these AI videos, which present, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is that people in this society, for their belief or their cause or whatever, are basically happy to present themselves in this kind of like heroic sort of way, as kind of heroic icons marching to reclaim their freedom and all that.
I mean, like, you know what I mean?
But what I'm saying is that what's happened in society, like, at what point did we stop thinking that, like, Yngwie Malmsteen was really funny, and start sort of finding that kind of presentation of masculinity aspirational? And Tommy Robinson will see the AI videos of himself, like his face carved into a mountainside or whatever it is, and he'll look at it and go, yeah, that's me. That's what they think of me. And it's just, why don't they realise that it's hilarious?
He was writing all this poetry about how he now, you know, when everyone started talking about pretending to be a Christian.
I love Tommy Robinson's Christian poetry. He stopped being a Christian since then. I'm quite disappointed.
Around Easter, so maybe it was just actually, they thought they were talking about it, but it was actually just it was Easter. And it was like in the news, so they were getting all like thinking, you know, they always link stuff back to their like weird sort of nationalist thing that I'm not allowed to say on the radio
Yeah, but Tommy Robinson, who still walks around showing his face, even though he is literally in the Epstein files referenced as a useful idiot. That's there in the Epstein files.
You can look it up on the Department of Justice website.
But also, people are fine to represent themselves as like heroic icons and like fighters of war, warrior. Oh, do you know what it is? It's because the whole generation, they all grew up
watching
Lord of the Rings and on video and playing video games where they go around killing
which
people.
all started as Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, which all started as a Lord of the Rings. So that's what they think the real world is.
But
so
like, you know, like Tolkien wrote that as a thing against sort of like industry, didn't he?
yeah, but Tolkien was also writing a book, writing a story, which whatever, that's fine.
Like, you know, he didn't. Again, it's like a sort of like don't blow everything up kind of deal, isn't it? So like again, it's the other way round. I'm just getting really bored of it. That it's just.
But come on.
Oh God, it's so obviously contrarian. All of it. Like
Yeah,
Tommy Robinson's
of course it
poetry about like how God is going to smite his enemies.
Tommy
like,
Robinson's
he's a Christian,
Christian
and, like,
poetry.
I'm sure Jesus would really want you to blow up the Middle East since you know that's where he was born and like that's where it all started. And I'm just finding it all very difficult to follow with the whole like bombing everyone to sort everything out thing. Like, you know, gee, ain't it really, really hot because of burning loads of oil?
Yeah, isn't it
I wonder if that's got
interesting
anything to do with the equivalent
that
of like
nobody in the media has talked about this at all.
Patch of land that's about the size of the Isle of Wight. Gee, I wonder.
Yeah, well, I wonder if, you know, when the day when the rain turned black in Tehran, I wonder if that may have, and everything else that's been going on in Iran, I wonder if that might have been causing some of the problems with the climate too. There are still climate change deniers, many of whom are making AI videos, and they also, the climate. We've talked about this before, but why does...
Stop talking about vaccines.
But why does being someone who denies the obvious reality of climate change, why do they also think it's bad to get vaccinated against diseases, and why do they also spend their time making AI videos of little guys in skimpy kilts?
It must be like a set of hobbies. It must literally be that like there's. I mean, it's all like pathology.
So kind of like what are your interests? Well,
like
racism, fantasy. And
World Warcraft. Sort of like pictures of guns.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really do feel that something's gone horribly wrong. I mean, really, like this sort of AI like right-wing pop.
Oh,
thing.
I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, they've got this thing.
It's hilarious.
This girl.
She's called it Amelia, beautiful girl, dyed her hair purple.
She looks like what they would think of as a woke person.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. So that implies that, you know, because we all know why people are making these sort of things, because, you know, it's like a fetish, isn't it? So, like, some guy has made this, like, fetishistic right-wing video, but his like inner desire is a woke person. So like, what does that say? It's all based on this like anime kind of quite soft portrayal of like a kind of like sort of punky girl kind of thing. So like, what is it? Is it basically that they're all showering at woke people because they fancy them? Is that it?
Maybe.
I really lost track of like all your sort of market research cultural signifiers now. Just sort of like to be perfectly upfront about it, I'm involved in long-range sort of like experimental genetics sequencing to try and figure out whether or not I'm actually a human, because I I am so alienated and ostracised at this point that I have got no idea how to do this anymore. I can't do it. And people keep asking me if that's a euphemism for something else. No, I can't. I've had like one of those like whatever, those kind of like dropping through the bottom of
oh, absolutely, me too. But I'm managing to live in a nice world of
when they're like
art.
13, 40. I hit that wall when I was about 22, I think, when I first got really badly attacked, and then after that it's been downhill from there, and at this point, like, sort of I've been at the hands of so much kind of bureaucratic bullying by various state institutions as well. I got like a subject access request thing back from a particular government institution. I just found loads of stuff about them lying.
Just
so I don't know how to do it
sorry.
anymore. I can't do society, it doesn't work.
No.
Like, sort of Deleuze Guattari talked about the whole thing of like, sort of the kind of, the sort of like, whatever schizoanalysis thing coming out of the disjunctions of society at the point that it doesn't work. The time that you see somebody at the most autistic is when they can't physically engage with the system, and that's where we're at now. So, I don't know what the point of that was. Have you found something?
I left some comments on some
Oh dear.
on some far right.
We can't play this.
I left some comments on some far right
Look it up, it's
AI.
gross.
I left some comments on this far right AI music earlier, and it seems they took my comments the wrong way, and they think I really like it. So that's great. But they have things called there's a song called My Restore Britain Crush, in which AI star Amelia sings about how much she fancies Rupert Lowe, who is obviously a very sexy man. But We Are Restore Britain is just amazing. It's just amazing.
I mean, it really does the colour coordination. It's just the constant
We're not
red
going
and blue
to-
and the red
yeah.
and blue, and it makes me want to. I can only look at so many
It was made.
sort of fascistic.
It was made 3 weeks ago. I'll read you some of the comments. Love it, restore Britain. Quality production, passionate and true.
It hasn't got any production because it's an AI generator.
This song will be top of the pops at the next local and general election. Beautiful music to our
Is
ears.
that what they want? They want like general election to merge with Top of the Pops and Eurovision. That's another. That's kind of. Maybe that's what.
Yeah, and look, there's 3 sexy AI girls, and they are standing in front of a sign. That's what it sounds like.
No, don't just you can't. Like, I think we can't. We literally can't because of sort of like various rules, and I don't want to. I kind of think like it's like I don't know. It's kind of like fun golly. I think
We have to not. I think we have to not consider this stuff dangerous. What it is it's
Like more like-
very, very funny.
more sort of like I don't know when you see little bags of hanging off a tree in the woods, that sort of thing. It just makes me feel.
Sort of like that. I think they're a fascinating cultural phenomenon. And don't deny, we spent a bit of time watching Amelia this morning.
Oh yeah.
Because it's fascinating.
I just find it interesting that this thing.
It's fascinating and it's hilarious.
The girl, if they met a person in the street who that thing was trained on, like generated on or whatever, the AI, they would hate them. Why have they chosen a?
Well, yeah, they were, but she's not
like
based
a
on.
funky youth.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, to appeal to that youth demographic who are, one would hope, missing from the Restore Britain kind of audience.
I think.
No. Yes. No, what we need to do is restore the world, guys.
I think
the
restoring people's
thing.
legitimate hobbies would be good. I don't really know why. I mean, I think something was starting to go very wrong when I heard lots of 12-year-olds talking about Brexit in a sort of on the kind of the pro-Brexit side, and it's sort of like, why are you talking about it? You're 12.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be making a sort of wooden plane or sort of playing in some mud. I don't understand why, or starting a band, you know what I mean? Why are 12-year-olds getting into sort of
politics,
right-wing political
politics.
groups, isn't it? It's a bit, I mean, as well as being obviously I'm not
Although
into,
the same thing did happen
with
under
blah blah
you
blah
know who,
politics
didn't
and
it?
stuff, but why are young people being so lame? I guess is what I don't understand.
Where are all the punks?
Why are all the
There's a few
boys
punks.
getting into sort of Tommy Robinson's poetry? It's just
Tommy Robinson's poetry is amazing. Tommy Robinson's poetry is hilarious.
Stephen Yaxley Lennon.
Yeah, Stephen Yaxley Lennon's poetry is hilarious.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I'm going to write the next great American novel. I'm going to...
Oh, his novel's going to be amazing.
I'm going to...
He'll write for jail.
A writer. Why won't you take me seriously as a journalist?
Yeah.
That bloke.
Listen to this poem. Oh, no, that I'm right, and when the lion stands by my side, and everyone will agree with me.
It's so hard.
Okay, I'm gonna sing you some right-wing AI music, right? And it's not just reform. I just couldn't think of the right terms to look up, but there's loads of hilarious right-wing AI music. The funniest ones are the ones with people. Well, just the one with a guy that was meant to be really butch, and he was wearing a tiny little Union Jack kilt. That tickled my funny bone like 9. And they just keep serving up this gold. And I left comments saying that they were hilarious and so on, and they keep serving up comedy gold. And the people called things like true British patriots liked the comment and took it the wrong way. So just to be clear, I don't think they're hilarious in the way that anyone would think they are. But this is what most right-wing AI, English AI music goes. Isn't it weird? English AI music, right-wing English AI music, which is now a genre, to say it like Mark Murray, right-wing English music. It goes. It's like an Irish jig with bits of metal.
Driving for Tom.
Yeah, like Mumford. Mumford, Tom Mumford. Oh, we're in a hurry and we take 100 back, and we're walking down the street and the lions roar. Walking down the street and we're walking down the street.
It's all got this sort of thing about how it's going to be green again and stuff, and they're all basically covering it in tarmac and turning it into a car park.
Yeah,
and,
they're all talking about going down to green, going back to England's green and pleasant land.
If you're talking about
let's drill more oil.
You know what I mean?
Do you like my
people
kills?
Actually caring about England. I mean, I'm more that than
I
these
care about the
people.
planet.
I don't. You know what I mean? I none of them. I bet none of them could even name 2 native bird species. It's pathetic. As if they care about anything. I mean, I know it's obvious. There's no point in even pointing it out because it's obvious what these people are doing. But it's just tedious. It's so tedious. Can't we just, you know what I mean? There's loads of stuff that people need to do to preserve life, and it's just this pathetic little boat, blah blah blah. I just can't. No one is thinking about the very obvious disasters that are coming.
No, they're not. But also, we're at a point where, because of the complicity with the media, with people of great disrepute, we have a world where the media doesn't tell the truth about anything anymore. And they prepared the world with this whole thing of conspiracy theory, which I discovered was a term invented by the CIA in the 1970s.
Oh, really? Are you, like, for real?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Apparently,
you know what I mean? Like, I know
1973.
it's just that, like, it's to try and prop up this idea that, again, it's kind of like, if you say something's a conspiracy theory, then that makes it like a class thing, doesn't
But
it? It's
also, like,
you
we
can't get to the
always-
top. It's like, these people live in our communities. All the people who've been doing the Epstein stuff, they all live in the worlds that we inhabit. So I would say having kind of like some deep suspicion about, like, who's running everything and like whether or not they're actually like really violent. I mean, here's a question: do like everyone else got to get like a DBS check? Like, what do the government? You know what I mean? Do they have to get one?
No,
So,
you
like,
have
it's
to
just
have a
sort of
criminal record to get into
Yeah, probably.
government. Probably universally
Not
at
like,
this
like,
stage.
but it's
It
just like.
probably helps. Or you have to have got off with a crime to get into government. You have to have bribed a policeman to get into government in the UK and probably globally now. I have some great ideas that will really sort out the finances, the ecosystem, etc., etc. Have you got away with murder before? No. Okay, you can't be a politician. I'm not saying that all politicians have got away with murder, but metaphorically they pretty much have, haven't they? Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what I mean? Everything's on fire, isn't it? So, like, sort of like Andy Burnham's potentially going to start doing new North Sea oil and gas drilling.
Oh.
So the fact that everything's on fire, I can conclude
Everybody
from
talked
that
about
you're
him having
trying
a
to-
coronation.
No, yeah, but
Since when is the
fact
leader of
that
the
everything's
Labour
on
Party
fire,
a
the
monarch?
fact that everything's on fire means that, like, you know, if you're going to open up new oil drilling in this climate apocalypse we inhabit, I can conclude from that you are trying to kill us.
Yeah,
all. That's
I would
how I
say
feel. So, like,
I would say so. I would say that.
like, it's not legitimate in the slightest. Like, that is that's a completely bizarre, destructive decision.
Yes, but the main thing now that's kept from people, now especially now the Epstein files are out, the main bit that's kept from people is that the world is, and this is not conspiracy theory, this is truth based on the eye of, I'm basically I'm like a historian. I archive stuff, I collect things, I make the connection, look at things, etc., etc. And what is happening now is, what were we talking about?
Well, Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh yeah, the only thing that's being kept from people now is the fact that many of the people in power around the world are crazed, sort of evangelical Christian Zionists, and the crazed Jewish Zionists who are intent on, this is people like Ben Gvir and people like Lindsey Graham in Congress, who just died, didn't he? Who are intent on bringing about the end of the world, and they have their bunkers in New Zealand. Our friend Peter Thiel is going there as well, and they, because they're kind of crazed in their beliefs and don't understand metaphor, they think that if they bring about the end of the world, they think then Lord Jesus is gonna come back, and then Lord Jesus would come down and he'd go, whoa, what's happened here? Everyone's been killed. And then all these billionaires would come out, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, the bald one, what's the bald one called? Bezos, and all these really boring people would come out, and Jesus would be like, oh, I can't hang out with you.
Bye.
I mean, imagine.
Leave and you need to get your apocalyptic wasteland. I mean, the thing is, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Because, like, well, okay, sort of like a what? They all go underground, and then what? How are you going to survive without a class system? What are you going to do if you haven't got the great poor to subjugate and ruin lives for. If we're all dead, they can't have a class system, can they?
No, they can't.
Class system disappears. Then it becomes
then money will just
then
mean
it become
nothing
a class
at all.
system within their group, and one of them will be pushed into the subservient position.
Yeah.
So there is.
Which one do you think? Elon? I think it'd be Elon.
And like,
Elon would get pushed. Elon would be
I
serving breakfast to paedophile and the rest of them.
whichever
By
one's
the
the
end,
most
polishing
violent will
Bezos's
probably
head.
win. Which one's the most violent? Well, they're all pretty violent.
They're all fairly,
Yeah, I mean, it sort of just really depends. I think. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's not going to come to that. We're all in this together, whether or not whether you like it or not.
And there's also
all our behaviour affects each other.
there's that billionaire who looks like an egg. What's his name?
No one's ever seen
He's
him
amazing.
before.
He's amazing.
He's like what? He's like literally Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah. And there's the other guy from Palantir
What the?
who's constantly on cocaine.
Oh, he's
and his hair's all over the place. He looks.
Oh, dude, he's just a terrible human being. But
Yeah. I mean, we haven't given him a musical yet.
No, I haven't probably spent enough time.
I haven't spent enough time thinking about him because paedophile, his bro, has been so entrancing to us recently. We have been spending a lot of time laughing at billionaires, but ultimately they are the oppressors of us all, so we should all be laughing about them. You bourgeois people don't realise that they think nothing of you. They think you are an ant.
Yeah,
they think you are disposable.
It's not about that, is it? Like, everybody who's like sort of aspiring to be rich thinks that they're going to end up in that position. So
that's the problem.
Just to inform you, you're not. So give it. Might as well give it up now and like try and actually like foster some solidarity with your fellow man and beast.
But here is one possible post-apocalypse scenario that, yes, well, I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but I'm saying this is maybe. The billionaires, they all go to their little bunkers and they'll be fine because you know what? They've got their phones so they can text each other from their different bunkers. And the billionaires are the only people left to repopulate the world. So imagine an entire world where the only humans are billionaires. Everybody's a billionaire. And then what have they done with that? They've made communism. Everyone's a billionaire. They've all got the same. And they have to be vegan because all the animals on the surface have died because of the apocalypse that they created. So ultimately, Adam, aka paedophile, and Eve,
aka
Sarah Netanyahu. I was going to say Elon Musk, but then I realised he doesn't have a womb.
But I mean, he'll have grafted one up by that point. He's well into sort of like...
Yeah, they're all into all that grafting bits.
Well, that's it. It's like, I was thinking about The Matrix again, and like, when The Matrix came out, well, wow, yeah, it's an analogy. I think it's actually like negging. I think they are, I mean, it is like a big amniotic sac, isn't it? Crawls into and plugs themselves in.
Are we allowed to say amniotic sac on the air?
I mean, it's a quite
Sounds
literal
revolting.
representation of what everybody's.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember? I don't know, it was years ago now, but when people started allowing like McDonald's to pay them to tattoo the logo on their face or whatever.
No, I don't remember.
Early 2000s. I mean,
I don't remember that.
Sort of just gave up, really.
If I'd known about that, I would have given up a lot earlier.
Oh wow! I'm sorry I didn't tell you earlier.
Oh yeah, I mean, totally just gone well. Yeah. I wouldn't have bothered doing anything if I'd known people were already willing to tattoo logos on their faces.
Like BMW or whatever. I mean, I don't think advertising works anyway. I think the whole point of it is to keep people thinking about advertising.
Well, I have the thing of when advertising comes on, I need to kind of block my eyes. So if someone had a logo on their face, I'd be like, ah!
Yeah. I mean, have you ever seen an advert and wanted to buy something?
No.
No.
No, I don't believe so.
I mean, I saw, like, when we were in America, and I saw an advert for, like, a torch, and it had a magnet on the bottom. And
You liked that?
That's the only thing it's ever... That's the only time it's ever happened, but equally, it wouldn't have to be that specific one. I just think that's quite a good idea. I could always just sort of like attach a magnet onto a torch I already own. So I don't know, does that count?
You could do that, but what would you attach the magnet with?
Gaffer tape.
Yeah, oh yeah, I suppose that works, but...
It doesn't matter, it's still functional.
Yeah.
You
Just
take
as long
off
as you
the
thought
magnet
that
to
bit
charge
through.
it if you put it on something that does something to its polarity.
Oh,
I guess.
yeah. Oh, that's
If
very
you need
clever.
to, I can't remember how magnetism works.
Donald Trump made an exciting speech about magnets the other day.
Did
you
he?
see him? Yeah.
Oh, really?
He just kept saying, magnets! We got magnets! We haven't quite got it yet, but we know what to do with the magnets. Other countries ain't got so many magnets. We got magnets. Magnets, magnets, magnets. It was amazing. I loved his magnets speech. A what?
It's all sunny, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
He's doing his dating profile and his
Magnets.
hobbies and magnets.
But still, I mean, if I had
Collecting
more...
magnets.
If I had like access to loads of magnets,
I like magnets.
I wouldn't do much else. You can make stuff move when you're not
levitation.
touching it. You can make stuff float.
Why aren't we using that more? They use it for trains in Japan. Why are we not? I don't know. Isn't
Because
that a way of avoiding
in this society,
it's a way
people
of, like,
want to burn stuff.
superconductors and I don't know.
And speaking of the terrible musical landscape of today, we were in a shop the other day and we heard a cover version
Maybe like AI.
with auto-tune and everything. It might have even been an AI version. Got to find out if that premises has switched to AI music. I think this is going to be the thing everywhere now. All the shops are going to be playing that amazing AI music.
You don't
Things
have
like
a PRS license.
AI. No, you don't need a PRS license for AI music, but also you're not allowed to copyright AI music, which is very interesting in some ways. But I mean, all of it is funny. There has never been a single piece of AI music that isn't like hilarious. Really, they're all hilarious. They all start from the root of cliches because they have to, because for some reason they've programmed AI music, which is why it's of no like interest of me to work with except for when I'm a hype hip hop MC. The basis of it is music that already exists. Whereas if you were going to let a computer go off and invent of its own accord consciously, then maybe you would have something interesting and something that you could collaborate with. But the potential AI version of Toto's Africa was
horrible.
Really quite vomit-inducing.
It was horrible, and then we were sort of talking to each other about it in the shop, and somebody was watching, and they were really upset.
Really upset.
Because people get really upset if you say anything that isn't within a specific kind of like group of.
Have you considered
Of
that
like
maybe
allowed topics. I mean, everybody talks about this free speech thing, but really nobody's using any sort of freedom to think about anything outside of the
prescribed boxes.
discourse, are they?
Yes, it's very strange, and it does.
I'm sick of it. I can't deal with this like feeling of just every time I say anything, people just stare at me like I'm a different species.
Well, it is a sign of a society that has fallen into very homogeneic ways of thinking, which has implications to say what kind of name you might term that society.
Well, it's been like this for a while. I've had many situations where people have like screamed at me about, "Well, it's like weird and confusing," and it's sort of like, well, I'm not really actually doing anything that is different to what was the allowed kind of discourse in, I don't know, the 70s or the 2000s or whatever. Like, depending on where you are, a lot of the things I talk about, like that we talk about, wouldn't be out of place in a different country.
But here is the thing, and this is the last thing I'll say about AI music today, is that when you hear a piece of contemporary pop music next to a piece of AI music, there is not a lot of difference.
No, not really.
And it would suggest to me that what AI music insinuates is that it's time for people to start making stuff that could not be predictable, that could not be generated, and to make surprising music. And that doesn't mean make surprising music and then no one listens to it. It's actually up to the listeners in this society to stop listening to prescribed pop music or the music you listened to when you were 12. A society moves forward with exciting capitalist words like innovation and invention, but you know, you can be innovative and inventive without like taking up more space or using loads of resources. It's very interesting that like a piece of AI music where you type in a thing, it takes up many more resources than, you know, me sitting and recording a track, for example. And the only resource there that's being used is like my time and my physical energy. And so all of this actually goes to what maybe seems to be the ultimate thing about humans, maybe just in the West, I don't know. But humans' ultimate thing that they want is to do nothing whatsoever. And so we will type a prompt to make a terrible piece of AI music which uses loads of electricity and water and so on. And then we listen to it once, and then
it just goes into a void of amnesia.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, because this whole thing of like, oh, it's going to threaten musicians. I mean, are we not forgetting about the act of playing? Like, you don't play music to listen to it. You necessarily play music to play.
And it's also distracting from the fact that hardly anyone is able to make a living from music anymore. Music and art have been completely marginalised in these cultures.
Well, when the COVID lockdown started, I remember loads of people talking about like how they'd lost loads of work, and I was kind of like, hang on a minute, like, well, you were getting paid, were you? Like, you know, I've never managed to sort of acquire like a regular income out of music or art, and I'm not, you know, and a lot of people said, oh, that must be because you're terrible. And I was like, wow, really, you know, I really wish that we were allowed to swear on the radio. Be like, it's a lot more authentic then. But really, just like, I mean, I've had my sort of integrity as a musician or whatever I currently do doubted throughout my entire life about, oh, you're not a real pianist, you're not blah blah blah, and then it gets to the point where you're playing like, I don't know, you're playing like sort of like the left-handed concerto, or like making kind of, spending most of the time playing sort of like quite high level stuff, and understanding it and like really connecting to it and everything, and I think just because I'm not posh and female or whatever, I'm never allowed to say on the thing that I do at the time. There's a lot of class sort of thing of me going on. So my whole thinking at the beginning of the COVID thing was sort of like, you guys who are getting paid, well, it's probably because you're people who made it so the neurodivergent people aren't allowed in the art industry anymore, really, aren't you?
No, but the wonderful thing about that time... I was quite
happy, I have to admit.
The wonderful thing about that time was that many non-neurodivergent people got to discover parts of themselves that they haven't previously discovered, like their inner poets.
Well, yeah.
And one of my current favourite genre, now I look back on it, especially post Gaza Holocaust, and looking at how Palestinian people respond to like the most unthinkable
Being in a
surrounding.
prison camp.
Yeah,
basically.
and
born in a refugee camp.
Yeah. And COVID era lockdown poetry, where because these people when they're not at work, they're also just always, Lottie, busy.
Yeah,
If it's
busy.
not one thing, it's the other.
So little time for self-care.
And I've got to fill the hot tub too, okay? And so the wonderful.
Got to plan the wedding.
Yeah, well, precisely. Precisely, we put 100K into that.
We went to chalet.
But COVID era lockdown poetry written by middle class people is something that is yet to be fully appreciated.
See, I haven't
for the gold it
haven't
was.
really delved into it. I remember, wasn't there that thing they were interviewing a guy who was it? I can't remember if he was being wrongly held for.
They were interviewing a guy who'd been wrongly held.
About like how do you deal with the lockdown? And
Oh, right.
don't you remember?
No.
There was some famous kind of like guy who'd been falsely imprisoned. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So how did you deal with? Oh, really? Wow.
I dealt with it. I dealt with it. I wrote poetry, Lottie.
Oh.
Let me read you some of it. Here I am. My room. Just me and this room. And it's mine. All mine. 4 walls, corners sharp. Clothing. Ceiling. Closing in on me until I can't see. Scared of letting the outside in, but terrified of letting the inside engulf me. Here I am. I haven't been to work in 4 days. Phone calls, yes, but that doesn't beat real human contact. Zoom meeting today. Zoom meeting tomorrow. Zoom meeting the next day. Zoom. And then it's just me. And the faces have gone. And these walls, 4 walls, and beautiful decked garden. Just me and my dog Finley. Which is another story. These walls. 4 walls. Next week. Who knows? Will we be indoors? Trapped, stifled, claustrophobic, not at work. I can't even go out in my little car. Just these walls. And my eyes zoom, twixt one wall and the next, until I realise, in the reflection of the screen of my phone, that it's just me and these 4 walls. That was a COVID-era lockdown poem written by someone called Janet Thwaites. That's one of my favourite COVID-era lockdown poems. Do you remember the good old days, everyone, when we were clapping for the NHS and all that? Wasn't it wonderful?
I never clapped.
No, I didn't clap. I did go outside and hear people
I heard it
clapping.
once. I heard it once echoing out across the field.
I'm just kind of programmed to not be. If someone next to me is doing a thing, I'm programmed to
not clapping for
be able to do the same.
I'm sorry, but this idea that we've got to clap for a model of healthcare where you don't die in the street is a little bit offensive. I think it's just the base sort of thing that we should cover, isn't it? Really, not allowing people to writhe around dying in pain in the street.
Public.
So I ain't clapping for
The
anything.
public in the West have been successfully gaslit to think that having any basic resources or basic dignity is some wonderful thing, and it goes back to George Bush Jr. saying it's great that these people live in a place where they are allowed to protest. No, the point of protest is that it is supposed to be listened to, because a government is supposed to represent the people of a country, isn't it? And do you know the AI music video producing far right are actually a very small percentage of the country, and there's actually another reason that all governments have been encouraging things on, certainly not actively discouraging Islamophobia. That doesn't have anything to do with the sort of hard Brexit gammon.
Oh no, not at all.
Idea.
It couldn't possibly have anything to do with it being actively encouraged through every successive government for years and years. Couldn't possibly be because there's just a sort of free for all allowing society to get as violent as it possibly can now.
Yeah.
Which is nice, isn't it?
Which also made me think, in terms of these kind of AI videos and the kind of deep fake they do, well people everywhere now, they will do a video where they get a political figure to do a rap or something, and it's AI, and they've typed a prompt, and then this glossy production comes up, and it reminds me of when I was had my first teaching job, and I was working with the idea of sound collage and cut-ups, etc. And it was December, so I did some classes on the Christmas song mashup. Showed some examples of Christmas songs mashed up, and then did cut up a thing to show kind of the practicality of how to do it. Finding individual words, sometimes finding half of words and making composite words. The kind of thing that Chris Morris was brilliant at doing, where you could manipulate technology to manipulate recordings to make it appear like people were saying things they weren't saying. And there's a level of artistry to that, and you can tell they're not really saying it because the sound and the image is, to some extent, visibly cut up. And when I did this lecture, this class on Christmas mashup music, and then I went around the class and listened to them, and a whole bunch of the kids had basically cut bits of the Christmas song out and then said rude words in the gap. Yeah. So Santa baby, boom, and then and I was like, no, the point is not just to add stuff from other places. The point is to manipulate the material. And stuff like Chris Morris editing a political speech or something to say the opposite of what it's saying is funny because there's been craftsmanship and thought put into it. But just getting a computer to animate in a realistic style a political figure doing something that they wouldn't be doing normally, it isn't funny.
No.
I don't get why,
I've never found much funny.
But the thing of an interface or system or whatever that can generate a version of any idea and anyone doing anything then there's no wit involved there's no wit or learning involved in making the thing, and nothing. I guess what it is nothing has been subverted in the process of making the thing. So consequently, it isn't funny. But time and time again in the last few years, I've been amazed by some of the strange AI videos that people who thought were intelligent were since found out weren't, but were finding that were really, really funny. Maybe it's a real red card. If someone sends you AI videos, kids, it's a red card. And as you know, the data center thing is bad, but theoretically, AI is great. Like we were saying, I think last week, we've learning how to communicate with whales through it. It's making great breakthroughs in medicine, and so. But the AI slop element, the idea that the environment is being severely damaged because people want to make far right AI Union Jack march down the street in a spandex Union Jack robotic outfits, and I don't know, I just think they're all deranged, Lottie, and I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do. I just don't know what to do. I can't take it, really. Everything's a bad idea.
Everything is a bad idea at this point. Almost everything. Almost everything is a bad idea. Those cars are still zooming past. I did think that when we actually got to the point of full crazed climate apocalypse, and I thought that there might be some immediate action, and people, I'm guessing there are at this stage no climate deniers in France. Climate change deniers.
Who knows?
France,
I hope not,
France. We dear listeners have been experiencing 30 degrees and above. In France, they've been experiencing 45 degrees and above. Parts of Spain have been going up to 50 degrees. Now, I actually have no conception of what 45 degrees would feel like. And that's what's coming here. That might well hit here this year, and then
I don't know. It's just you gotta stop unnecessary, destructive, contributory behaviour, because it's not just the billionaires, is it? We have an entire system that runs on blood. So I read a thing today that dairy farmers have only just started calculating their sort of footprint of chemicals or whatever that go into the thing, and it's just, it's I'm not going to use the term veganism because it's a case of
it's such a horrible word.
It's a case of having enough respect for the planet that you don't opt to keep another species pregnant for years and years and years for its entire life, so you can suckle from the teat and it be no other species does that, and it be one of the drivers of the apocalypse when you could not suckle at the teat of a different species and just eat stuff that comes out of the ground. I don't think that makes me a vegan or whatever, and it just sort of if you're at the point where we are literally all experiencing everything being on fire because of these industries, really, really, come on, it's tedious. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. And it has been an experience of, a few, maybe more than a month ago now, there was a news story saying the UK is going to experience a tropical night, which is a night above 20 degrees Celsius. And that was a news story. And then I have noticed by our thermometer, our digital thermometer that's in this room where we are recording from, that it hasn't in fact gone below 20 degrees Celsius at night time or any other time since that time, which to me speaks of quite a shift.
I mean, it's just terrifying. If you're not terrified, there's you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Scaremongering. Like, yeah, I am scared. You should be scared as well. Like,
But
really,
remember,
we should all be scared. This is bad.
Yeah. But the apocalypse, it can mean the end of the world. It can also mean the end of a completely dysfunctional society, which can be replaced with a functional society.
The society making your life miserable. Like, just admit it. Like, everybody's going, well, again, like, everybody goes on and on and on about how they have no time and stuff, and then when the lockdown happened and everyone had this, like, huge bulk of time to take up whatever you want, and nobody really seized it, so, I don't know.
Oh, but Lottie, they did.
Well, they wrote the poetry, but
They
I
did.
just... Do we want to survive this?
Yeah, do we want to survive this?
I don't want to see piles of dead birds. I don't want to see plastic and turtles. I don't want to see, like, coral bleaching. I don't want to see, like, the sort of, like, outer Siberian... Is it outer Siberia? The big sludge lake from all the tech... They called it tech lust. Who's lusting after these things?
That's a new term to me.
No, well, that's been around for ages.
Tech
like fondle
lust.
slabs.
Oh, I've heard fondle
iPads
slab.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, all this stuff. Like, we had the Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
It was how it was before everyone started chopping all the trees down all the time.
If you were making Adam and Eve film for now, who would you cast as Adam and who would you cast as Eve? But it has to be celebrities. Has to be famous people. Interesting. I know who play Adam. David Boreanaz.
Yeah, I mean, he could.
And Eve could be Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Wouldn't that be good?
You want Buffy?
Yeah, that would be pretty good. Or you could do like a Brexit type Reform UK Adam and Eve, where who would Adam be? Would he be Richard Tice or Nigel Farage? I know. Adam would be Robert Kilroy Silk, because it can be dead celebrities.
I mean, he did start the
He
whole...
did, he started it.
It was his fault.
Yeah.
When it all started.
Yeah, Adam can be Robert Kilroy Silk, and Eve can be... Oh, do you know? Oh, well, this is amazing. Imagine Penny Mordaunt as Eve.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll do.
Imagine that. That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. And then who, if Richard Tice is Adam with his little leaf over his little tinky, and Penny Mordaunt is Eve with a little foliage, nipple tassels, and another leaf, then Satan could be played.
Is it saying?
Well, the snake, the serpent.
It might not.
There's many schools of thought
That it's not.
as to the identity of the snake. I would cast Simon Cowell as the snake in the Garden of Eden. As Moses, Tommy Robinson.
Every time I think about it, I feel like a bit sort of sick in my mouth.
Every time you think of Tommy Robinson,
He's gross.
he's not the
gross.
prettiest thing, is he?
I saw an article in The Guardian which was about why is the Spectator so racist, and the Spectator described him as eloquent.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
charming.
Amazing. He's very eloquent and so charming.
He's not eloquent.
But also Andrew Tate got arrested this week, finally, the horrible, crazed trafficker guy. He was wearing an outfit that people managed to match with a, what's the name of Asda's own brand? George, is it? Yeah. They managed to match it with a lovely ladies' George outfit. If if you haven't seen it, it's a lovely purple blouse he was wearing with a little medallion in the middle, and then some sort of cut-off trousers which stop just below the knee, and some lovely slip-on leather shoes. That is what you call style. Now me, listeners, I'm wearing a smock right now. I ain't got nothing on under the smock neither because I'm too hot.
What does it say on the front?
Tell the listeners.
It says Cool Masons.
Cool
There's
Masons.
got loads of upside down crosses.
And a Mason
It says-
symbol.
Oh yeah, and it says Hype MC, give it up in quotes.
Hype
And then-
MC, in parenthesis, give it up. Yeah,
then
give
there's
it up
like
for
a
the Hype
skull.
MC. And there's a skull.
Which looks a bit like the one that's on one of the guinea pigs' posteriors, which I saw running through the dark the other day, and I really did think it was a skull, like Scooby-Doo sort of ghost, classic sort of spooky skeleton.
Yeah, we
I
also...
thought it was a real spooky skeleton. So now it's there for a reason. It's a dazzle effect, isn't it, for predators? It scared me.
Yep. In other news, dear
It
listener,
was a tiny ghost.
one of the guinea pigs has been renamed to match his character because names, well, take it from me, names are a work in progress. And one of the guinea pigs, the most violent one, with regular listeners will know of him by reference to his large, swollen, gaping anus. He has been renamed. What's he been renamed, Lottie?
Land shark.
Land Shark.
He's crazed. He's a crazy.
He's
beast.
crazy, but if you look at him from underneath, he looks exactly like a shark.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
He runs and runs and jumps and throws himself about.
So we're gonna get him a little fin.
I don't understand why he's just out of control.
He is. He's out of control. He's like a thug. He's like a.
But he also
There's some smackery going on
he
there.
likes to throw himself into everything
Yeah.
with real pizzazz.
Yeah, well, exactly. I personally, the older I get, find, the separation of the humans from animal
else.
friends, well, specifically from animal friends, a little more difficult to deal with. And as my life goes on, I would love it if I was sat here, we were sat here recording this show, and then a big Blake Osterlop-Hin just walked in
Oh, I'd love that.
and just walked around.
I've
And
always wanted a chicken.
yeah, well, one day we shall live with some
I
chickens.
want to get a giant chicken.
Bark, bark,
And a guinea
bark.
fowl, I've always wanted to get, well, not like in an ownership capacity, just encouraging them to come and live
To cohabit.
in my vicinity because I think they're funny.
But imagine this. Imagine you could. You want that little drag of coffee in
yeah.
a cup? Imagine you could just spend your time. I mean, can you imagine a more ideal life than this? Spend your time in a small, windowless room with just a guinea fowl.
The guinea fowl,
Yeah.
I mean, that would be great. A
It'd be
guinea
wonderful.
fowl and a guinea pig together.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. I think
Yeah.
they'd, I don't think they'd get along. I'm not advocating for that, by the way. That's probably not extreme sort of
Yeah.
animal
Well-
ethics issues. But then at the same time, a lot of things manage to get on with each other in the wild.
Yes,
so
but
if they just happen to live
guinea
near each
fowl,
other, that's
Lottie.
got nothing to do with me. I
Guinea
would
fowl
watch
don't
it.
get on with anybody.
No, they don't. I mean, that's the thing about the guinea fowl, really, isn't it? Is it's sort of across the board. Most other animals really can't stand them.
Yeah, and they can't stand other animals. I don't know if it's that they can't stand them, but they want to annoy
Oh,
them.
it's great.
They want to irritate. It's a
if
bit
you-
like me.
If you so desire, I recommend, if you're listening, whoever you are, and want to sort of find a new area of interest, I recommend looking up guinea fowl, sort of, and other animal videos. It's quite quite inspiring.
Yeah, they like to annoy
It's great.
animals.
They use them for sheep herding. In New
Yes, they
Zealand.
do. Yeah, well, I think you could herd pretty much anything with
Yeah,
them.
we should get them in. I don't know, send them out to deal with their own noise.
Yeah, they're like really annoying. So in that capacity, they're kind of like the Zionist of the animal kingdom, aren't they? Da da da. They're very noisy. I remember seeing a video about someone who was very angry because their neighbour had guinea fowl. Because they're so horrendously noisy. So if you have a neighbour, dear listener, and you hate them, if they're horrible, you know the kind of people I mean, get some guinea fowl.
Yeah.
That will irritate them even
They
more.
use them as guide dogs. Guard dogs.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Alarm.
We've
dogs.
gone into a culture where if your horrible, pompous, presumably right-wing, probably racist neighbour is complaining about you, we live in a culture where everyone has become apologetic to the racist neighbour, and the fact is, you are within the bounds of the law permitted to be just as expressive as you like within reasonable hours till I think whatever the legal time is, 10:30 at night. Don't be apologetic to your pompous Tory neighbour or your pompous reform neighbour or pompous Labour voting neighbour, you know, like non-anarchist
Yeah, basically,
neighbour.
like all of them.
They're all
have
dreadful, aren't they?
different manifestations of.
Yeah, your presumably bourgeois, annoying, entitled neighbour, instead of kowtowing to their horrible pomposity, what you need to do is you need to realise that the gift that you have of irritating, pompous and middle-class people is really something to be treasured, because you are perfectly within your rights as a human being and the law of the land to just annoy them even more.
I recommend.
Don't be aggressive or angry, because that's not fun. But do fun things. Do funny things. Do unpredictable things. Do silly things. Repeat things over and over again. Irritate the pompous, because let's be honest, they do irritate you, don't they? And it's always this kind of thing is far more disturbing to the it's far more disturbing to the person at the receiving end of it than the pompous person doing the complaining. So, what is their problem? You know, actually, you know, they do not like music. They do not like
anything.
sound. I did used to live next door to this terrible Tory man who would complain about the music, and then at night would watch pornography at maximum volume that rattled the whole street. But actually, the problem, as the wonderful story with Prokofiev when he took up hammering because his neighbour was complaining about him playing and composing music, that we live in a society where
People are allowed to complain about Prokofiev. I mean,
if you are playing Prokofiev on a piano,
you do better.
the chances are someone in Great Britain will complain about it.
Yeah.
But if you are using power tools all day, nobody will complain.
it's fine with
And
that.
why is that? Well, that suggests to me that this is a culture which thinks that art is only of any relevance if it has some kind of usefulness outside of being art. Art isn't considered useful. So the sound of hammering is very useful, and the horrible sound of drilling drilling
You know why
and
art's
stupid
useful?
saws and
You know why
well,
it's
art's
like-
useful for infinite
You know
reasons.
what? But another reason why it's useful is because it makes you not stupid. So
Yeah.
you should give it a go.
That's the thing is, you should be playing Prokofiev or whatever is interesting music, or really any music that isn't like that isn't contemporary music that sounds like AI music or like boring so-called avant-garde improv and drone music. There's such a myriad of interesting music from across history, and we're fortunate enough to live at a time where we have access to recordings of the vast majority of it. So play music loud and enculturate your neighbours. They might hear a piece of music that completely blows their mind, and then whoop-de-doo, what next thing you know, they're not a fascist. They're doing something else, and they're not complaining about music. No. They've taken up the sax,
Right?
haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing can happen. We can make this desolate wasteland seem more cultured by inflicting it on your neighbours. If are all your neighbours boring, turgid and tedious around you, then get the Led Zeppelin on. Or
Yeah, I think Led Zeppelin's a good one.
Led Zeppelin is
Because it's
definitely
kind
a
of
good one.
across the board, people remember that they really like it. And
Yeah.
I think it's, well, we do know this, well, Jimmy Page did a spell and then they all turned up. So
Yeah.
I think it's magic music.
Yeah, and it's. I don't understand why, as a culture, we started kowtowing to the pompous person, when actually, what we should be doing is like, don't we like stick it to the man anymore and things like that. So, our whole culture has become
14 years now.
bourgeois bureaucrats, or people aspiring to be bourgeois bureaucrats, and instead of kowtowing to the neighbour, be even more annoying to the neighbour. There's all kinds of ways of being annoying without being like inflammatory. You don't be unpleasant, because ultimately you do want to, in your life, you want to try and set an example, because why would you try to act like something that you think isn't good or whatever? So you go through life. You need to go through life now at this point, like Pussy Riot said, being the God's fool. You agitate and irritate, and then maybe something breaks through. We don't just sit by and say, yes, we'll turn the music down because the angry fascist next door doesn't like it.
I'm so sort of hyper aware of people always sort of staring now.
Well, yes, there's a lot of that.
Paranoid. It isn't paranoid.
Oh, yes, but this is, maybe
It's
let's
very
address this. That
scary
autistic people spend their whole lives
Do get tired.
getting stared at by people wherever they go, and every autistic person I spoke to has had the same experience.
Right, what is it known as? It's known as a social disorder or whatever, isn't it? I don't personally think I'm particularly disordered, but that's a different conversation. But it's known as a social, like related to social
yeah.
problems. So whenever an autistic person talks about having social problems, suddenly no one believes them, when it's literally the definition of it.
Yeah, but social problems aside, the specific thing that autistic people, when they go outside from being very young,
Yeah.
get stared at
All
by
the
people
time.
because they can detect something different. I'm not here to speculate on what that
It is true.
on what that is, but universally, autistic people get told they are imagining it. Well, it seems to me from conversation with,
pretty much all of my friends are neurodiverse. But
is it that every single person is imagining the same experience?
We're all getting together and like
they're
our famous ability to organise social events means that we're all managing to get together, organise the global underground autistic thingamy and make up that everybody hates us.
Yes.
I'm not allowed to say that, am I? But I mean, really, like, you all act like it. Well, I'm sure that not everyone's experiencing that, but that's been my experience in life.
Almost
everybody just
everybody.
hates my guts.
Almost everyone.
Everyone hates my guts, and I always
spoke
trick
to.
myself into thinking, oh, maybe this one will be different. Maybe this one I'm going to make friends. Maybe this one they're not going to hate me and gradually hate me over months and months and years. Then you find out that no one can even remember your name.
Well,
And then I don't know, you go to a wedding and someone introduces you to your friends that you lived with, or like you talk to somebody and they inform you about your family but seem to forget that you're related to them. That sort of thing, that you're never there in the room, you're never allowed in, you're constantly on the other side of like, oh, they wouldn't want to come, they're weird, or like, you know, oh, we didn't invite you to the hen party, I'm sorry, we talked about it, but we didn't. And you know, now I'm at the point where I don't care, I don't want to come, but I just want to be allowed to have ownership over my own experience, and like, you know, actually admit that this is real.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, right, if it wasn't real, right, why are we diagnosed then? If it wasn't real, why does the thing exist? If it wasn't real, why were we all like picked out by the Nazis on the way to them killing us? You know what I mean? Like, if it's not real that we're treated as a difference, as an other, then why were we targeted by the Nazis? You know, like, why did they put do not resuscitate orders out across the entire, like, in the NHS during COVID?
During COVID?
During COVID, they put do not resuscitate
I'm
orders.
not sure how widely discussed that is,
Well,
but
it's in
that
the
is
news,
true.
but no one cares.
That,
So
you
you're
know.
all so virtuous and you're all so woke, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know, you're all so sort of aware of other people.
Yeah.
I don't mean everyone, but you know, if people take sort of like offence at that, then that means they're doing it. If you're not doing it, you wouldn't take offence. So
This is true.
it's true. Like,
This
you
is
know,
true,
I don't
dear
take offence
listener.
to it because I
That
didn't
is
do
true.
it. So
Yeah, that is true. That's
if you're
very,
taking
very
offence at an
true.
accusation, that means that the accusation applies to you.
It does. It's one of the very telling things about humans. It's been very interesting the last 3 years in the sense of having this realization that, there's this thing that the autistic person gets told in the ways in which they're different to apparently normal people. But it turns out, from what I can see, that the neurotypical person is so different to me that I literally don't know. I literally don't know where to start. I think I think that the neurotypical person lives in an entirely different way, where in almost everything that is being spoken is sort of 3 phases behind its actual meaning, but also it seems to me, given the I need to put water in there. I'll do it in a moment. Given the last 3 years of live streamed Holocaust from the Gaza Strip, it seems to me that humans don't have this kind of neurotypical humans don't have this sort of quality which Dickens talks about, the Christmas spirit, you know, the spirit of giving and kindness and empathy, which we get told autistics don't have, and that is just not true.
Right.
It seems a lot of the description of what they're saying is the autistic person is actually a description of the neurotypical person, because the autistic person I would be very interested to see what percentage of the actual people who have objected to the great violence in the world are neurodiverse people, and I would suspect many of them. By this point, maybe this is controversial, I'm not supposed to say this, but you know, it's desperate times, it's called for desperate measures. You got to say the true thing. Yeah,
fine.
And the neurotypical world has proven to me that they think it's that reality is bendable in the way that you can say, yeah, it's okay to kill loads of children now. And it's not. And I have seen more neurodiverse people saying that neurotypicalism should be treated as an illness, because it enables one to have such detachment that you can see the most horrific thing you've ever seen. And the most horrific thing I've ever seen has been outdone, day in, day out over the last 3 years. And and if you don't feel like part of the big human family that this is really a problem, then again, I don't think you think in any way similar to me.
No.
And I think that the reason you have books like the Jesus book is because you normal neurotypical people have to be told how to behave. You have to be told how to conduct yourself. You have to be told what's right and wrong or good or bad, but you know, it's obvious what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah, it's really, really obvious.
Even though, you know, I'm not saying that there aren't nuances to this. Like, I think that, yes, stealing is bad, but I don't think poor people stealing from billionaires would be bad. I don't think a homeless person with no money at all stealing a sandwich is theft even, because I think that food is a basic human right. And do you know that a few years ago there was a vote in the United Nations to denote food as a basic human right, and the USA and Israel voted against it.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, voted against it, because no, food shouldn't be a basic human right. We should all be working to be able to eat on this in this hellhole that you are birthing new babies into.
In feces from, like, you know what I mean? You put a potato in the ground and just multiply. I think we're missing a little trick here. That there's all this public space and it's just covered with allotments.
Yeah.
No, if they want to talk about like job creation, everyone hates working in offices. Why don't we just get all the food production in-house, like hyper-localized, and then everyone can just go into making food in the environment they live in. I mean, that could be a way of doing something useful, but no one's ever going to do it because that would involve having to do something, and you have to get a planning application together to put a box in the street. It's just pathetic. Like, no one is ever going to get anything done at this rate. You're never, ever, ever going to stop this apocalypse we find ourselves in until people actually say, yeah, okay, we'll do something without having to wait 3 years to fill in a form.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just pathetic.
Well,
It's
bureaucracy more than money might be the root of all evil.
Oh yeah, I mean, it really is.
Bureaucracy is the great impeder. Bureaucracy is the thing which ceases action.
Yeah. I found, talking about bureaucracy, I found in my full subject access request that I did to the DWP, I found lots of my disability assessments in there, where their own assessors were saying that I couldn't function in the work environment and was too ill. And I also found lots of, and their recommendation was that yes, I do have complex disabilities. There's all the sort of like £8 worth of postage of medical information from various, from like 40 years of medical assessment or whatever, that yes, this person indeed does have health problems. And also found a lot of stuff where they were saying that if I did have to engage with the DWP system, that I would need some adaptations because I'm disabled. Lots of stuff from their own assessors, which they then ignored their own bits. Like I've recently done a subject access request for everything, got on every piece of information that the DWP has on me. It's just lies after lie after lie after lie. And yeah, some of us, that's how we have to live our lives, and we're expected to just take it. Yeah.
This week, Keir Starmer stopped being Prime Minister, and then in our democracy, we now have another Prime Minister, the 7th Prime Minister in 10 years. And it's all change. It's all so different now. Finally, Andy's come. Not Andrew, more casual than that. Andy. Never trust a politician.
The guy?
Andy Burnham.
Oh, okay.
Andrew Burnham. Andrew Burnham. Immediately, because he's so different from Keir Starmer, immediately he has agreed to let British air bases host American warplanes going and doing their illegal war in Iran. So thanks for that, making us all that bit safer again.
It's also
just that bit safer.
It's also all making us all have that bit more heavy emissions going to the. All the sort of like massive loss of life aside, it's poisoning the air, and I just what is it? What's the law that they put in that's going to be really bad for journalists, that we're not allowed to talk about anything now?
They're trying to do that.
It might help someone. I don't know. It's very difficult to keep track of whether or not I'm doing anything illegal.
Are we breaking the law?
I don't know. I thought
it changes every week. The best thing to do is to disregard it completely, because when the government are consistently breaking laws, you cease to become accountable to that government.
Killing is bad. We're now at a point which we don't usually get, which we didn't really get with other sort of like very violent histories.
Land shark. Land shark.
The history of like human sort of like mass violence, we're at a point where we've had many years of people devoting themselves to scholarship to try and figure out why it happens, and we know how the propaganda machine works, and we know how the sort of the getting to the point of the violent regime happens. So like I mean I literally went to university to study stuff about this, so I'm not gonna be told that what was fine for me to study at university in 2011 or whatever with like reading Marx and stuff, well now it's not okay to do that, is it? Well, the government were giving me the student loan to go and study this stuff. It was fine at the time. So what are we all like?
We're about to go into a time of everybody going on about that communists are the real threat. They're pulling that one out again.
There aren't any communists.
There
aren't any communists. I'm the only communist. You're the only communist. Have you ever met a communist? I've never met a communist. Ever. A lot of people say they're communists and they're not.
They're not.
I've never met anyone that I could say is actually a communist. And you know, the way that I can tell that is because a lot of people don't agree with sharing with people who have less than them, which I personally think is like, well, I just don't really understand what the problem is there. Like, if you see someone in pain and suffering, I mean, despite what Simon Baron-Cohen says, that I don't have empathy apparently, well, you know, when I see someone in pain and suffering, it really, really hurts me, and I don't like it. And I don't know, does that make me an enemy of the state?
Apparently so. Crazy times, huh?
People.
Opposite land.
I just don't, and you know, then people ask you like, in medical appointments, so why are you depressed then? Well, like somebody told me the other day that I sounded like in a sort of medical capacity, they like questioned whether or not I was having a breakdown because I was a bit sad about the fact that, I don't know, the Great Barrier Reef's gonna collapse.
Apparently,
like,
yes.
Why aren't you sad?
Yeah.
Do you not care?
Like I said, the neurotypical
I'm
people.
sad.
who aren't sad about like the planet that they live on
the
dying.
Great Barrier Reef.
You're all
Fish,
insane.
You know what I mean?
You're
I like-
insane.
I like looking at like pretty, like pictures of pretty birdies
Prove me wrong.
and stuff, and I just don't get why I'm being told that I'm wrong, because I don't like seeing little fluffy animals being like stabbed to death, and I don't like seeing children crying, and there's a lot of that, and I was just like, what? I'm crazy, am I?
Yeah, apparently
Twilight
that makes you
Zone,
insane. Yeah,
like,
we're in the Twilight
whatever
Zone.
swear word I'm not allowed to say is this.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to hear?
Oh, it's just like, it's worse than a hellscape. Like, you know what I mean? No one used to have like an apocalyptic, like forward-thinking worldview. I mean, they did have a sort of like idea about the end of time, but you know, Revelation was a political satire about Rome. Like, no one was thinking.
And
oh,
now the richest,
No one
most
was gonna
powerful
think-
people in
no
the
one was thinking
world are
this is the
taking
end.
it
It was
literally
about-
as a
it was about-
text.
it was about Nero
666
being-
turns out to translate to
it's-
Nerone.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense. It's like
The beast
you
is
know,
Nero,
you-
folks.
I just nobody thought that the end was going to happen, and they've all functionally, like, if you try and this sort of like American end timer cult that's been about for ages, in the high evangelical positions of power and all that sort of stuff. Like, well, if you bring about an apocalypse, you're going to bring about an apocalypse, aren't you? You don't
Yeah.
need like.
It doesn't really prove any ancient text to be true if you're the person doing it.
I mean, do you not all feel kind of like sort of depression in your body, like just this sort of like heaviness about just how stupid it all is? Like, how are you? Why are you pretending it's fine? Yeah.
Yep. Okay, do you want to hear the land shark theme?
I'd love to hear the land.
I've just composed the land shark theme.
What's the land shark?
So the land shark, he's like a dangerous shark, right? But he's also, with that sassy sachet, the way he walked, with that prominent sphincter, he's quite classy, right? He's quite sassy. He's quite sassy. So this is, I figured out, this is the land shark theme. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
He's looking.
Yeah, land shark, that's your song. And you know what's interesting? For a few seconds there, John Williams thought he was going to get some royalties. But it turns out that John Williams, all you did was took the beginning of da 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 da, and then you used your AI to slow it down, didn't you? You typed a prompt, slow this down and make it about a shark. And that's how the Jaws theme came, because the land shark theme, of course, came first.
Right, with Jaws, I've got a question about Jaws, because a lot of people have been talking about Jaws.
I'm not sure I've ever actually seen Jaws all the way through.
And a lot of people talk about Jaws and they say, oh yeah, it's really good, it's really scary. What I don't understand, you've got a problem with the shark, don't you just get out of the water? Just don't go in the water.
Don't go in the water. If the shark's there,
Don't go in.
don't go in the
It's
water.
about how you, like, this, I don't think humans should go in the sea, really.
Yeah.
I mean, walking around sort of like by the beach is fine, but like the sea is where the shark lives.
Well, yeah, I saw somebody saying the other day that why on earth do we call it shark-infested waters? That's where they live.
Shark lives.
That's where it's not infested with them.
It's the
The
shark
only
house.
infestation
Like,
would be the humans swimming
don't
and
live in the
urinating.
water. The humans don't live in the water. The
No.
shark lives in the water. So, like, you know, it's not a land shark, is it? They call it a.
It's a shark.
Water shark.
The- oh,
for a
yeah,
reason.
yeah. They don't call it a water shark. They don't call it a water shark for nothing, do they? And if this land shark lived in the water, we'd call it a water shark.
It wouldn't be, and then we wouldn't be in this constant state of land sharkery.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be doing this radio show because all the recording equipment underwater wouldn't work. And I ain't got no hydrophone. Bum 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 bum. I just record when I'm dry at home. Da, 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 da. I feel so very, very alone. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I hope I gets me a hydrophone. Da, 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 da. Gonna go out when it's cold and I shiver. Da, 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 da. Take my hydrophone down to the river. Da, 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 da. Then I'm gonna meet some friends at da 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 da. Yeah, we're hydrophoning at the river, man. Da 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 da. Hydrophone on the radio show. Da 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 da. I got my own damn radio. Da 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 da. Hydrophoning all my friends. Da 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 da. Hydrophone until the end. Da, 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 da. Recording sounds underwater. Recording sounds underwater. It's the greatest thing to do.
To the sink.
From the water to the sink.
Bar to the club. From the office to the after office party.
Yeah.
From the east to the southeast.
Yeah. And you know, in your when you're with all the rich people and they're doing like all the rich people things, they've got like a chocolate fountain and some human meat, and they've got like the champagne,
sponsored by vodka.
the sort of champagne fountain thing and all that. Well, you can put your hydrophone in that champagne fountain, but I wouldn't recommend putting it in the chocolate fountain, because if that stuff sets around your hydrophone, well, how are you gonna clean it? If you put it in the champagne fountain, you're gonna get that all chocolatey. If you take it down the river, you're gonna get chocolate in the river. And so just make sure that you use your hydrophone only in liquids of a kind of a watery consistency. Sparkling is fine.
What does it sound like if you put a microphone in some asphalt? We might have access to a fridge soon, so we could give that a go.
We could
But
make some
it's
lovely
got to be
aspic.
pectin, because I don't
Or-
eat the boiled up bones of some tortured baby cows.
I wouldn't like to put my hydrophone in a meat-based aspic.
No.
That would be horrible. But in a pectin-based aspic, well, any hydrophone I'd put in. And what sound would you hear in there, you asked? Well, the interesting thing about this, as we've discussed before, is that aspic has the peculiar quality of registering as if it is a scan of a human brain.
So maybe hear consciousness in something.
Yeah, so possibly.
Tried it, have they?
Possibly, is it to do with the aspic, because it's jelly? Are the particles and are the atoms inside the jelly not in a permanently fixed state, so they're permanently moving around and chatting with each other? Because, dear listener, this may sound flighty and speculative, but, and I don't believe we've discussed this on the radio yet, did you know, dear listeners, that it was discovered recently that fog is sentient?
We have talked about that on the radio.
Oh, have we? Fog is sentient, though.
It's kind of, it's like
Fog.
Sort of like,
Fog thinks.
Rhizome.
Fog makes choices.
Rhizomic something or other. Is that a word? When
Rhizomic.
it's like a big system, sort of like.
Rhizomic conscious fog.
It's sort of alive.
Boom, boom, boom,
Be nice to
boom,
the fog.
Yeah, be
Or it
nice to the
might- it
fog.
might get you.
You can also ask the fog how it is now when
Probably ask
you
it for
meet it.
directions.
When
Show
London
you.
had that smog problem, could they have just asked the smog to leave then?
No, the smog's not.
Well,
sentient.
smog. Well, smog must be partly sentient because it's smoke and fog.
Oh right, is it?
Yeah. Smog is when smoke got mixed with the fog,
Oh, it's really like.
which must have been
Oh,
horrible, horrible, and it went on for a long time.
When was that?
It was like Victorian times.
Oh, right.
It happened in periods, like the fog happened and the smoke was particularly heavy at a time. So this stuff, smog, which we have no concept of really.
Really?
Which was, it was fog, but it was thick with burned, and very, very, lots of people died from smog in Lou.
We should like burn more coal and stuff. Like, it sounds like a great
Bring
idea.
back smog.
Let's just bring it back. Like, you know what?
If we're going to destroy the planet, then why not do it in style?
I'd love to
Bring back smog.
I'd love to not be able to breathe some more. It sounds like a great idea.
I mean,
Get
it'd be
another
great.
car.
But also,
Drive around a bit.
do you know what smog is excellent? Like fog is overrated for hiding it. Like if like there's some fog over there and I go and run into the fog, that's gonna have to be really deep fog for me to run in, and who knows, the fog might just part as well.
Yeah, it depends whether it doesn't like sort of like communist.
Yeah, exactly.
It might be McCarthyist.
Yeah, it could be McCarthyist fog. You never know with the sentient fog what its political beliefs are. But if you were standing here and over there was some smog, I bet you I could just walk like 1 foot into that. You wouldn't see me at all. You'd just see a big wall of blackness. Smog. Bring back smog. Actually, all of the far right, to go back to the beginning of the program, the comedy far right, they really want the fictional idea. What is it Orson Welles calls it? I guess the word to use is like Albion, fictional,
like
fictional Albion, pastoral Britain, the village postman, and the world that was presented in Ealing comedies, which to a certain degree, and the world of Enid Blyton books. But if they really want the Victorian era back, then we're gonna need smog. Because you can't have a genuine Victorian experience without smog.
They could get sort of like polio and diphtheria back as well if they want. Get a bit of smallpox in. Get a bit of let's just all abandon public health measures altogether and start chucking all of our defecate out of the window, and then we can get plague again. I think it's a great idea.
You said the word defecate so beautifully then. I was really
a piece of
taken
information that we found out the other day about the Prussian sort of education system being like really top down and kind of like slightly propagandist, and the British resisted this education system for ages because they wanted more children for the workhouse. So that's the history of the world.
Well, that's the other thing, that if they want it back, they'll need the warehouse back. Cholera. Did I say warehouse?
Yeah.
Workhouse. The workhouse, where young Charlie Chaplin spent his childhood, in the workhouse. How things changed, how times changed, eh? How times changed. So here we are at the end of the world. I was saying something else about the comedy far right. Can you remember what it was?
They want this old sort of like green and pleasant land.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? They've got to stop. If they want that, you've got to stop sort of driving, basically.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like the comedy far right. Well, not, the far right people.
Oh, we got to call them
these,
comedy far right,
they
though, because they are funny as well.
They do all these AI things with like pictures of like a village or whatever. And I grew up in the village, like Green Village. It was all, it still looks the same. It's still just as green, except it's covered in trash from McDonald's, and and there's planes going all over the top of it and everything. And they all talk about like how they want this like green thing, but then you all want to go away to like Corfu. So like, what are you on about? It's like I can't really. I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
You know, if you want the green, pleasant land, stop like doing things like cutting down the tree that everyone liked, or like sort of building all over like a nature reserve. And you know, if you want it to be all green and nice, don't go and like fly tip in the river and like build a Starbucks in the middle of nowhere in Devon for no reason, which no one even uses.
Yeah, it's funny
Like,
that
what's the
Starbucks.
point? What's the point? Like, well, that was like some nice sort of like trees and animals lived there and stuff before. I mean, I know it probably looked like weeds to people. All these bits of stuff.
This notion of weeds is very troubling to
all
me.
these sort of like wastelandy things that you don't pay attention to. That is where the actual nature is, because there aren't humans paying attention to it. So like
Weeds.
You know,
There's not many plants that, if you look at them, aren't beautiful.
Well, everything is an ecosystem for life.
No, but even like the denotation of certain plants as weeds.
It's just.
It seems like psyop.
Yeah, and this other thing as well of like in the bird seed world, there's this whole like, this is for the robins and the chaffinches, but not the starlings.
Yeah,
but
also
no, not the crows.
all the bird food.
Like, what you want
unless you're very careful, all the bird food has beef in it. And in what universe do birds eat cows?
Beef?
No.
What are you going on about? Robins don't eat cows.
You're all
I
insane.
just can't do it anymore. I can't bother.
No.
It's like there is such a thing as the right thing to do.
The right thing to do, yeah.
And
But like I was saying earlier,
matter of opinion, and you know, me saying this isn't a case of like, if I'm saying the thing that's the correct thing to do, I don't take that as a thing about my ego that I've won, because it isn't connected to me. It's the reality. It's got nothing to do with me. It's actually just the way things should be, i.e. like, you know, if you're in a room and you set fire to the sofa in the room, you're going to suffocate and die if you close all the windows. So like, there is such a thing of having, you know, being able to look at reality and say, oh look, it's on fire, and that not be something about I've won a point for pointing out something and blah blah blah, middle class virtuous blah blah. There is such a thing as, if you've started an apocalypse, if you've started setting fire to the entire bit of land that you depend upon for life in space, which you depend on for life, that is wrong. And I know that, like, oh, we can all, you know, we'll get some better light bulbs and just like cut down your meat usage, but, you know, go on holiday maybe just once a year.
yeah.
You know, remember to.
I'm ready for the new medieval time, really. I love the idea of sitting around in a field.
Burning the oil. Like,
Yeah.
That's not me saying, woo, my idea's great. I don't want to die, so stop doing it. I don't want to die, you're killing us all.
Yeah.
That's what I've got
But
to
it's
say.
okay, people can just continue to deny tangible reality.
It's just, it's really, it's quite difficult to deal with.
I told you about the wonderful new conspiracy theory, which really is a daft one, that volcanoes are not volcanoes, they're actually dead dragons.
I mean, this can't be people actually.
That's no, it really is. It really is. But no, but the whole notion of belief is very flawed anyway. Belief is it's a kind of fallacy, because it implies that you can kind of curate reality, and you can't.
And I'm going on everything that I
You know,
think is things
gain
based on
knowledge.
things that I've seen or experienced.
Yes.
And like, if some of it sounds completely wacky and out there, doesn't matter. I've seen it and experienced it. I wouldn't be talking about it if I hadn't seen it. So.
It is wacky and out there. Fog is sentient.
Well, yeah, you know, that's that's the thing. So like Fog's sentient, so
Fog has a personality, and we say, yeah, well, it's made up of lots and lots of little things that makes this one sentient fog.
So is the economy.
Yeah, but also so are we, ultimately.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
So are we.
Like, all of it links back to climate change is the only thing that really matters, really.
At this moment, yes.
Everything.
Yeah.
Really.
Because that is everything, and
I mean, it just don't you want to live in a nice garden? Like, wouldn't it be nicer? You know, all these people. Oh yeah, green and
by this point,
Britain. Don't you want to live in a nice?
I just want to be around
pleasant-
animals. I want to be around
Yeah,
birds.
I
and
don't want to talk to humans anymore. Animals are far more mature and sensible and clever. So.
yeah, increasingly, I think the idea that we were talking about earlier this year in the Listen Play Experiment workshops of lingua bestia, the idea that language in the way that we have it is something that a species transcends quite early on in their evolution. Increasingly, I think that's really not fanciful, and
No, I think that
there's a thing with art. The more refined an artist becomes, the more there is kind of reduction of the means.
yeah.
And probably in the evolution of species, it's the same. So
Also, in terms of like certain art forms as well, like in kind of ballet, for instance, there's a retired vocabulary that's like very reduced, that is all to do with gesture and stuff, and everybody kind of knows exactly what it represents. It's kind of like an ideal of everything, and you can communicate entire things in a different way that's like not.
And I say all this as someone who absolutely adores language. I adore language and the ways it can be played with and manipulated, the way it can build things and create images in the mind and all this magical stuff.
At the same time,
but it also is something. Maybe the reason ultimately that language is dropped by a species is language is extremely easy to manipulate people.
And it's restrictive as well in the. Well, it's sort of prohibitive as well to certain people who can't sort of talk. I don't know. I have a stutter that comes and goes, and sometimes I just can't talk at all. But like I have a condition that causes sort of like functional shutdown.
Hey, but Lottie,
so sometimes I can't talk at all.
Everybody stutters one way or the other. Check out my message to you.
And then I find that when I can't talk, people treat me really with quite a lot of dehumanising.
Yeah.
Like very.
Yeah.
That's an entirely separate conversation that I will have at some point. But really, like, if you work in a customer service position and you ever have any problems with sort of auditory processing or stuttering, people will immediately jump down your throat and start kind of implying things about you, like very kind of ableist rhetoric.
What they don't know is that a scat and a stutter is the same thing.
Also, the other thing is maybe a lot of the time, if people are noticing that you're stuttering, like maybe it means that I'm just talking more than them and using slightly more complicated words as well.
Yes.
But it's kind of I worked in customer service positions for long enough to really not have any respect.
Yeah. Like Scatman said, listeners, we've got to believe in love. That's all there ever will be. That's all there'll ever be for you and me. Yeah, you didn't know that one, did you? That was Scatman John's third single. And it was called...
Was it Scatman's World, or is it Scatman's...
Scatman's...
Wait! No.
Scatman's message or something. It's got singing children and everything, just like Coldplay had when they did some football thing this week where
people, the Western world displayed just how precisely we seem to have become a weird regime with this highly weird entertainment. And as somebody who's considered like an avant-gardist and an outsider artist or whatever term, and having never been like trying to be weird, I can see now what the situation has been. It's that all of this society's tastes are absolutely and utterly bizarre. And the reason I'm outside of that is that actually I've spent my life working within actual art and music historical traditions. Because I don't make neoliberal art, and the triumph of neoliberal art into this sort of giant, grand spectacle of baby eaters galore is really something that it's history in the making, and it's lack of sort of comportment and taste and brashness at a time of such global horror, and to spread this hippie text of love all over the football field when Palestine couldn't play because all their team are dead. You know? Sport. It's not that important. Happy Christmas, guys.